What's going on, everybody? It is Monday Night Live time once again, right here on ITR Clips. I am Alex McCarthy. You know this. SB3 to my left, possibly your right, and vice versa. Sami Zayn on the other flank. Best wingers since Man United in the late 90s. What's going on, fellas? Sat, how are you, man?
Well, I was trying to prevent some fraud in my bank account today, so it took me
Oh,
like nearly 3 hours to get it done. Started at 8:45, and it was 12 o'clock when I finally got things sorted out. So yeah,
they were trying to get your inside the ropes money.
they're disguising themselves as a Nigerian prince. I'm kidding, as Apple. They're trying to disguise themselves as Apple, but yeah, sorted that out. And yeah, man, trying to catch up with some wrestling. Didn't watch Rampage, but I caught up on all the other stuff. And me and SB3 got to talking because I came to some revelations about a certain wrestler.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna let
God.
him set it up. It's actually quite funny because I texted him. You're gonna love this story. Hey man, it's a true Sai Nyangi story. Only I could be that type of person. And also, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say for now. But yeah, hi guys, how's it going?
SB3, how are you, man?
I am doing all right. Hopefully, enjoying my final week here in the UK before I head back home to the States. Head back to the good old East Coast before making my way to the.
You're like the Terry Funk of traveling. That's what you are.
Absolutely,
You keep saying you're going and you keep coming back.
I keep saying I'm retiring from this place, but they keep pulling me back. But no, I got to make my way to the Midwest for All Out weekend, so that's going to be a bunch of fun. Going to be out there for that. But yes, over the weekend. I saw our good friend David Bixenspan put out a tweet talking about how he doesn't understand how anyone could dislike Slim J, and I tagged
showering praise on him.
He was, but he was like, I can't understand why anybody would dislike Slim J. So I thought that was a direct shot at Mr. Nyangi over here, because if you saw last week's episode, he couldn't go more than 5 minutes without mentioning Slim J and his absolute vitriol toward him. Not even hatred, vitriol toward Slim J.
Annika!
Hey, Annika's here.
Yes,
But it was funny enough, after I tagged him in that tweet, I got a message from Mr. Nyangi over here, because he came to the revelation that he was a Slim J fan dating back to like early 2002, but he didn't know it was Slim J.
Oh no.
Hey
man, he either doesn't watch matches and he comments on the matches. He likes wrestlers. He doesn't even know they're the fucking wrestler. What is going on?
Hey Mac, the year was 2003. The Wrestling Channel debuted in the UK. There was like a battle royal of sorts or X Division match. There was a blonde-haired kid doing some flippy moves. I thought he was a great wrestler. Then he disappeared off our screen for over a decade. I was like, what happened to that guy? It turns out it was Slim J. I was a Slim J fan. So it makes sense. The hat, the look, the 8 Mile get up. He was dressing like that in 2002.
If it ain't broke. I mean, listen.
I forgot his name.
On our show last week, Slim J was like Triple H in 2000 on Raw. Just a common thread throughout the show. Couldn't get away from him. And now Sat has turned a corner.
Have I turned a corner? You know what? His outfits are less offensive now that I know that he's been wearing it since 2002. So it makes.
Yeah, he's not a culture vulture. He just, he's been living it, man. 20 years.
He's Eminem in his 50s. The blonde hair's gone. There's a dark hair.
He's more like, we compared to, you said 8 Mile. You said 8 Mile. He would not be, B Rabbit. He would be Cheddar Bob.
He is Cheddar Bob.
Cheddar Bob. So
he's now my second favorite member of the Trustbusters.
Oh, I mean, that sounds like a really close for competition group for you.
The best one is Sonny Kiss, without saying. Third one's Parker Boudreaux. And then you got Ari Daivari, the brokest guy pretending he has money. If you got so much money, start your own company like Freddie Prinze Jr.
Anyway, welcome to ITR Clips after that opening diatribe from the three of us. Always delighted to have your custom here. Remember to give us a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Show us some love, show us some support. We always appreciate it. And if you are feeling particularly generous on this Monday night, you can always donate. If you want to help out Inside the Ropes and the boys, your super chats you can do right here, or you can go to itrclips.com, and that way we will get it into the document. We'll read it out on the screen for you. Please, we just appreciate you being active in the chat though, and joining us. Do what you want here on Monday Night Live
Within reason. Within reason.
Do you have to set a precedent for sure? Yeah. While we're on AEW, let's stick with it. We do have to get into the NXT UK / NXT Europe news in a bit. I've been speaking to a lot of talent from there, so I'll share with the world what I've learned. But until then, CM Punk came out with some guns loaded on Wednesday, and the rumor mill and reporting has not stopped since. Without quoting verbatim what CM Punk said, he did essentially say, Hangman Page, you wanted a rematch. How about now? Of course, he doesn't answer because he didn't know he was meant to. Nobody knew CM Punk was going to lay this gauntlet down to Hangman Page. And then, quite unfairly, Punk would say, there you go, he's a coward. Which, I mean, I don't know. If he hasn't got the heads up or anything, I think that's a bit harsh. Anyway, it's hard to see how that's going to play into things. It doesn't look like Page is factored into that area of the show for a while. So there's going to have to be some discussions and some revelations, I'm sure, from Tony Khan in the build up to All Out. And I'm sure he's going to get asked about it. So we will see. But anyway, moving, we'll come back to that. But Punk goes on to fire shots at Moxley for being the third best man in his group yet again. That was a line I actually did enjoy. And he proceeded to tear into Kingston as well. What did he say? The second best Kingston he's been in the locker room with, and the third best Eddie. Sorry, my missus is asking me about chicken right now. No, leave that. It's
yes, chicken, please.
She don't know about seasoning. She don't know. I'm invited to the cookout. She's not. Anyway, oh shit, huh? Nothing.
Great cooking. Mwah, fantastic.
He's taking cues from CM Punk out here in these streets.
Right?
Taking shots.
Phil has inspired AMAC to go AWOL.
Please don't punk me off. So that's the problem. He was doing, it was a good promo, right? Good segment, but then we're led to believe that he'd gone off script a little bit. But not only that, apparently SP3, there's been problems for a while. Like, this has been bubbling behind the scenes. Thank you. And it might not be as fairy tale as some would have you believe between the quote unquote, if the reports, I'm quoting here, top guys aren't particularly happy.
Yeah, this is dating back to the promo work from Hangman Adam Page prior to Double or Nothing. Basically, one of his promos, especially the promo that they had just before Double or Nothing, where Page kind of alluded to CM Punk's issues with Colt Cabana. Apparently, some of the promo material didn't rub Punk the right way, and he had a meeting with AEW higher-ups. Voices of Wrestling had a separate report where they said that after his meeting with the higher-ups, CM Punk went to some people and said that he would never lose to Hangman Adam Page. This also led into kind of people in AEW believing that Punk was so frustrated that he was possibly could have quit the company, or at the very least not show up to last week's Dynamite. And then Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter had a further report saying that it's a bigger, wider problem within AEW, that the top guys right now, there's some unhappiness, some miscommunication between them, and he believes that Tony Khan should sit down with them because a lot of people are at their breaking point. So yeah, it just seems like this is kind of a boiling over point for a lot of stuff that we've heard over the last couple of months. You know, this is kind of the year for AEW where the honeymoon period is not only over as far as, you know, fan criticism, it's over for kind of the talent being kumbaya in the back. And I'm not going to say that CM Punk is the catalyst for this. I'm just saying that having CM Punk there is another ego, another top star that is not going to always get along with certain other people. And I've heard a couple of different arguments since this whole news came back, because I do have some friends that live in Chicago that are not all that would, I would go as far to say, are CM Punk attorneys, and they say, oh no, this is all the work, you know, Punk used the dirt sheets to, you know, promote his return, so he's using the dirt sheets to turn heel. And I was like, okay, I can believe some of this, but honestly, this whole report by, you know, great work by Sean Ross Sapp and the folks over at Fightful, this whole report does not make CM Punk look good. It doesn't make him into a heel. It makes him into a diva. And it doesn't make Punk look good at all. And I think that, you know, the main part of it that I totally agree with is that what he said on, you know, Dynamite about Hangman Adam Page, it wasn't fair to Hangman Adam Page at all. Because even if he was aware, you know, what was he going to do? Bypass Tony Khan and go out there to answer the call and not look like a weak babyface? And if he wasn't aware, that's even doubly just wrong. And, you know, there's some people that are trying to justify what Punk said in the report, saying that he was justified because some of Hangman's promo work that Punk didn't like, it was when Punk wasn't there, and he said what he said when Hangman was there. It's like it's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make CM Punk look good at all. So I do very much think this whole CM Punk and Colt Cabana thing is a bigger issue that people in AEW are just trying to kind of silence down. If you're not aware, you know, they were sued by the doctor from WWE after the infamous podcast episode following CM Punk leaving WWE, and they were sued, and Punk told his best friend of 15 years at that time, I will take care of the legal bills. Colt Cabana, I will say, I'm not going to say Colt Cabana's in the right in this 100%, because Colt Cabana then chose to not have the same lawyer as CM Punk and got a separate lawyer from a separate firm. So CM Punk was like, I renege my offer here. Yeah, I thought we were going to have the same lawyer, at least from the same firm. That's one bill. You're getting a different lawyer that's probably charging more. That's a different bill. So I'm reneging my offer here. And that is usually the falling out of all friendships, especially friendships that long, is usually money. Yeah, it's usually money. So I think it's a very serious issue.
If you said, right, SP3, Alex, I'm going to take you out for dinner. And I go, oh, great. And then you sit down and order something, and I go, but what about this restaurant down there? Like it could be, you know, you're going to pay for this, right? And you would go, well, no, like it's this dinner. You know, look, I don't know CM Punk, so I'm not gonna, anything I say from this point, you know, let's be clear that I'm not speaking as if I know him. I've only ever dealt with him in like press conferences. I will say, when he first came back, I don't know if he was on the press conference, SB3, but I was. And one of the first things that he said was, oh, well, anybody that I've blocked before, let's just get out this way. I'm not going to talk to you and stuff like that. And everyone was a bit like, that's a bit weird. Like, you've just had this triumphant return, like in the last hour. And already he was, you know, like he already had that wall up. I can believe, is what I'm saying, that he's not the most straightforward guy. If he doesn't like you, or he can definitely be rubbed the wrong way. Has any of this happened? I don't know. But I do think that Punk was kind of looked in this little window from the internet wrestling community where he's like romanticized, right? Because he was away for 7 years, and WWE is the big evil corporation, and in many ways they are, right? But particularly in that exit, everybody was like, they did Punk wrong. They killed his love for wrestling. And because we all loved Punk the Performer so much, I feel like he was held in even higher regard, right? And he's kind of bulletproof for a while. Nobody would really consider something like this. Nobody ever really, despite there's been many people in the business that have said so, no one's ever really thought that Punk is a problem, right? But now, here we are. We're away from WWE. We're in AEW, and these issues are starting to emerge. I mean, reportedly, I should say. Not saying there's not a way back. Not saying that, maybe it's been dramatized, maybe it hasn't, but there's rarely smoke without fire. And that promo, if, indeed they didn't know what was being said, then on some level, it's unprofessional at the very least. I do like what CM said here. Where is she? Phil making me agree with Paul. I hate this. Now, what CM is referring to here is the promo many moons ago from Triple H around the Summer of the Punk, where he basically said, you want things to change, you want things to be better for you. And that kind of alludes to what SB3 was saying earlier. Is CM Punk, with his ego in there, when we all came back, he said he wanted to work with everyone, and we were getting this great run of him working with different talents. But now, and then he's worked his way to being champion. And okay, like, is it getting a bit more political now? So how do you read the situation? How do you think Triple H's words have aged? What is your take on this whole thing?
To quote a despicable man, they work themselves into a shoot, brother. So when it comes to CM Punk, I have conflicting emotions because growing up, huge fan of the guy, but I'm also a kind of person who hates people. I hate politics. I hate people being bullied. I feel sad for Colt Cabana. That's the main thing I want to get out of the way. He got to the company first. He didn't do a CM Punk. He didn't go, they text me an offer. Like, he was there from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? He was there in the trenches, and then CM Punk comes along. I don't want to work with that guy. Allegedly, reportedly, we don't know if that's the truth, but my guy hasn't been seen in a while.
No.
He got there first, and then it's like, well, I'm here now, and I don't want to be.
Have they moved him to Ring of Honor? I don't know if Sid can.
Sid knows more about the reports.
Yeah, according to reports, he was re-signed to be a part of the Ring of Honor brand, but basically he was on his way out. Tony was kind of pushing him out, and it took Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, kind of talking up for him because he's so well liked for him to even get re-signed.
You know what? Yeah, I just want to say this quickly because I know we're talking about this. If the Elite leaves, shit's gonna hit the bed because they had a heart and soul of things. I feel like if Tony by himself with no one to like hold him down as an anchor, Cody left already. If the Elite leaves, all wrestling, because forget the Elite, all wrestling is gonna go crumble into themselves.
Well, let's get it straight. Punk is a TK dream signing. He always was. This is well known from forums back in the day. He was Tony's favorite wrestler when growing up. I'm just playing devil's advocate. If I had a company and I could sign The Rock, I can't say my judgment wouldn't be compromised. Tony's probably a better man than I, but I'm just saying, like, there is that element to it where, maybe Punk is like a favorite of his. I mean, every booker has him. Vince McMahon sure as hell had him. That could be an element.
And to go back, growing up in the Monday Night Wars, there's a lot of politicking around. So this is great for wrestling, by the way. This is great. No matter how much we'll be like, oh, politics. This is actually exciting. So the moment Hangman and CM Punk fights again, you can smell the spiciness of it. It's like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, 97 all over again. Now I'm starting to understand why CM Punk loves Bret Hart. He holds grudges. He holds grudges like no one else. If you give him Coca-Cola instead of Pepsi, he's going to remember you and hate you for the rest of his life. So I like that there is beef going on. It makes wrestling more exciting. And also, Tony Khan come out with a whole nice guy routine. We know who you are. We've seen what you really are. Just embrace it. I just want people to put the cards. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want. I don't like the falseness of certain people's personalities. I don't like falseness in my wrestling. Be real. If you're Eric Bischoff in disguise, be Eric Bischoff. Actually, it's more like Dixie in disguise because he loves wrestlers.
Dixie. I mean, listen. First of all, Colt Cabana, he should not be ousted of a job.
Right?
Straight up. No matter what whatever's happened there, whatever's happened between him and Punk, I'm sorry, it shouldn't affect his employment. So if that happens, it kind of is happening, I guess. Not that he was a prominent part, but you know what I mean.
Dark
Like
Order.
they've moved him. Man,
Dark Order, man.
I think that's poor. Second of all, man, have Hangman open up the show on Wednesday, storming down the ramp. That's what I want. I want him to address some things. That's what I want from Hangman Adam
That
Page.
wouldn't happen. You know why? Because Phil would leave the scene. That's what would happen. You know them ones. Because Hangman could 5 shots back, and next thing you know, Phil's not feeling it anymore. He's not feeling it. He will make the show. But I like what Moxley said, by the way. He goes, don't give me that BS. You only came back because you're going broke. I was like, you know what? That might be true, you know. How much of them comic books is he selling? You know, how much of them films is he? I like that film he did. It's on Netflix. The horror film he did is a good film. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, how much is he really doing away? He needs the moolah. So he's not going anywhere. He needs that money, that accolade. A promoter that listens and values him. That's his dream come true. He ain't going nowhere. He just want to flex his big boy boots. Wrestlers do it all the time. Give me that Sting money or I'm leaving. Nash would know.
This is another good point from CM. Just the term pre-punk AEW, I actually want to explore for a second. Referencing obviously what I just said about The Rock. Now, while it's a dream, you have to ensure your company will last when this person is gone. I at one point was like, oh man, just imagine that AEW gets CM Punk, and I really thought, not that the company's hasn't done better, but I really thought they might go to, new levels by now. I think that's fair to say. I don't know how to phrase this. Has he made that much of a difference for you, SP3, in terms of the quality of AEW? Let's talk about it pre and post CM Punk, because we're entering a phase now where he's potentially about to dethrone Moxley for the title to get back on top again. How much is it about his running the company as opposed to making AEW better?
Well, I would say the period from All Out, or when he came back on August 20th, 2021, up until the end of his feud with MJF, is the greatest period in AEW history. As far as not only just ratings, their ratings were at a high, doing 1 million more than a few times. Their pay-per-view buy rates were higher than it's ever been in company history. You had the all-time pay-per-view that was All Out. I was there live for Full Gear. That was a tremendous card that kind of gets overshadowed by all the big moments at All Out, but that's one of the greatest pay-per-view cards I ever been to. And then Revolution was tremendous. And then just every single week, especially with the MJF feud, that's one of the best feuds in AEW history. So I would say that he's made a significant difference on the ratings. He made a significant difference on the pay-per-view buy rates and of the quality of AEW. So yeah, I would say that it was better. I mean, for people that, have this beef against CM Punk, of course they could say it was just more pure before CM Punk got there. It had less egos. No, it still had egos.
You could do that all day. Yeah,
the Codyverse started way before CM Punk got there. When Cody's kind of quality of work went down, that happened before CM Punk got there. So everyone has an ego. So you could always say that even before pre CM Punk, they had an ego, but he has paid dividends for this company. And I would say him getting injured after Double or Nothing took the quality down a bit, and that was the main reason where I went back to the end of the MJF feud in March and Tony getting Ring of Honor, where I felt the quality was going down just slightly, but definitely after Double or Nothing, it went down even significantly more, and a lot of that can be contributed to CM Punk not being around.
I remember watching last Wednesday and him cutting that promo, and obviously some of the scathing lines that he was chucking out, and we had some of that during the MJF feud. And I did think to myself, this is the guy who, this is what we miss. This is what you want. Because there was that period when he got back where it was still kind of like we said, the romance and the joy of just being back, right? And there's a few, and that lasted like a good 6 weeks where he didn't really kick into gear, and everyone was going, people couldn't wait, could they, on Twitter? Oh, this is rubbish. I want the old CM Punk. And then I watched things like Wednesday, and I'm like, man, you can't deny it. The guy's got value. But Sat, is it a good decision, though, to have him come back and win the title again? Has the boat been missed because he had to vacate the belt? Oh, he didn't vacate it, but you know what we're trying to say here.
To answer your question, the answer is no. We know what a Moxie title reign is. Work rate every week. Not a bad thing, right?
No, not a bad thing.
The fact that he won an interim title is like a consolation of sorts for sorting out his life, getting into a great shape, and coming back. We've done that. We've never seen Punk as champion for as long as a week. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I love films. We all love films, TV shows, you name it. We love narratives. You can't give me, he came back a year ago, and you're like, he was that close, he won it, and listen, you got to ride the wave while you can. The man's value is there. He's not like a mainstream star like The Rock, sure, but he's got some name value outside of the AEW sphere. Some lapsed fans have come back because of CM Punk. CM Punk is like Robin Hood of the wrestling industry. We thought he might never come back, potentially, if Vince McMahon offered him a boatload of money and Triple H groveled before he might come back to WWE. But he came to AEW, which was a dream signing because AEW had the same ethos as CM Punk. Alternative, different. Are you tired of a John Cena-like wrestler shoved down your throat? Come here to AEW. So CM Punk, he fits AEW. He fits the what they're going for. So to answer your question, yes, give him back the title. As much as I love Moxley's everything that CM Punk is trying to, claim that he is or whatever, but Moxley's been in the trenches. CM Punk, for value of money that TK's paying him, I would pay a guy a lot of money and MJF crying in my ears if I'm not going to give him the title. Give him the title. MJF come back, feud with the guy. So to answer your question, I'm going to stop shouting now. Give him the title.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it, but it's just in light of, I guess everything that's going on.
Fuck everyone else.
No, I would say that AEW is closer to the hardcore fan, the internet than WWE is.
Of course.
Right? So what's reflected online, you generally, I guess, could hear at an AEW show, whereas WWE seems like it's two different worlds. But I don't think that will change course for Tony, because the beautiful thing about CM Punk is he is an absolute mesmeric heel and babyface. So you could pivot each way you want with the title. Similarly to how he had that really long reign in WWE, right in Raw 1000, we're going to make you a heel now, and it just breathed new life. Shouldn't really have been ended by The Rock, but that's another discussion.
You believe that?
I don't think The Rock should have been the. Listen, okay, we're in another conversation now.
Let's have it later.
Listen,
Do you want to table it for later?
Well, not really, because
Okay.
I haven't got much more to say about Punk other than I really rate him and I like watching him. I'm just very curious as to what the situation is behind the scenes and how that is affecting the likes of a Hangman Page. And the reports are very vague, right? With top guys, I'd like to know who they are, right? Like to really get it. Well, I think they like him.
They like see it. They love CM Punk.
I would like to get.
Having issues,
I know we know what you're saying. What I mean is, I would like to really understand what the reports are, because that vagueness makes it difficult. Okay, who's upset? Who's been held back, or who's I need to know that. I need
Lance Archer got banished to Japan.
With the Fightful report, he said they was like frustrations, but they said the frustrations would have led him to miss last week's Dynamite. Was that just the frustrations with what Hangman had to say, or was he frustrated with the change to the All Out match now happening on Wednesday? And I'm of the thinking last week's episode was tremendous. I loved last week's episode, especially with the promo exchange and the narrative thread that was throughout the night with Moxley and Punk, and then the Danielson Garcia match, Kenny Omega's return. That's the type of dynamites that we got pre-Revolution earlier this year. That's what I like about AEW. But I think that this is more or less kind of a trying to get the big ratings pop here on Wednesday more than thinking about the main event of All Out, because I was like, this is the biggest match possible after that promo exchange, and I wanted more promos. I don't want a match next week, honestly, but I'm here to see what they do, and they have a little equity with the fans where they can give us a non-finish to this if it's going to build to something bigger, whether it's a stip match between Moxley and Punk at All Out, where they're going to inject MJF into this already, which honestly I feel like MJF needs to return at All Out, because you want to try to capture some of that energy that you got at All Out 2021, and the only big star that they have out yet to return is MJF. So I would like him to, you know, decide who the undisputed champion is, and then I think Punk will win that, and then after MJF comes back and attacks him, and then if MJF gets cheered in Chicago, there you go, that's your catalyst for CM Punk to turn heel. And then you could do Punk in Kingston in New York a couple of weeks later for Grand Slam, and then you could take it to full gear with MJF and Punk.
All right, let's return to what Sat said. The same way, I wouldn't like it if a part-timer ended Roman Reigns' long reign right now. No pun. I didn't think that you had to end such a legendary. It was a legendary run. It was the longest one of the modern era at that point for CM Punk, at the hands of The Rock, right? A blown up Rock, for that matter. Now, listen, I am the biggest Rock defender in the world. We all know this. Love the man, but like, you got to take your feelings out of the equation. That was very harsh on CM Punk heading into WrestleMania season. He'd been by far the most interesting thing in the company, the best performer in the company for a year, maybe more. And then he just, I mean, don't get me wrong, he did okay at that WrestleMania, right? If I'm not mistaken, he ends up with Undertaker. But like, it's still, I mean, at that time, you screwed your face up. At that time, that was a big deal to get Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Wait, was it after the streak was over, or was this before?
The streak was
he was the last guy. He was the last guy to be at WrestleMania. I still to this day, I was at that WrestleMania, and I still to this day will stand by the fact it should have been Rock, Cena, and Punk. Punk's reign should have ended at WrestleMania.
There you go. That is it, right? But there's no reason why. I mean, okay, that's a much better thing for me. Okay, like Punk's in the main event, two biggest stars in the industry alongside him. That does justification. Okay, that is better than, yeah, you've done a great job, buddy, but we're getting to the big business end now. We need to take that belt off you because we've got a bigger match than you. To me, at the time, bearing in mind how excited I was The Rock was back, it still rubbed me up the wrong way. I still thought, I would have felt done dirty if I was CM Punk, and I'm sure he did. But there you go.
He should have lost the right back.
Christ almighty. You had to do it. Let's talk NXT UK / NXT Europe. We discussed this a little bit last week. The UK arm of WWE was on its way to we could say, unsure destination. Tapings were cancelled. There was basically no future plans for shows. They were not factored in to the Cardiff weekend. What's wrong with you? You know, I'm looking at SB3. What's wrong with him? He's about to burst.
I know. I was gonna let you finish. But WWE think they slick. They got a burning building with people dying in the burning building. They gonna be like, well, look at our luxury new apartment we're building tomorrow. Our luxury build apartment. Don't mind those people dying in the building over there, but look at our luxury build apartment. That you know, that nice house, that was great. But we got this luxury build apartment that we're building, and we're gonna bring it out next year. Oh my god! Got his hair on fire. They were like,
I'm on fire, mate. Save me.
Is that your best Charles Samuels? No, okay, we knew, everyone kind of knew, really. Like, when they didn't move out of the studio, when they could have begun touring again, that was a pretty bad sign. BT then took it out of WWE's hands basically and said, "Look, the football's back. we can't keep doing this. Got to hit the bricks." Now Triple H is launching NXT Europe. So what they're going to do? There's Worlds Collide next week with NXT. Historically, very good shows, by the way. And then it will be a sabbatical until the new year. And then in 2023, NXT Europe will launch. Now, at this point, we actually don't really know what NXT Europe will do. Presumably, they will tour Europe. You know, there's lots of wrestling hotbeds around there, like France and Germany, and that the brand can explore, and of course the UK. But we don't really know why the mass exodus of superstars. There doesn't seem to be a lot of talent left for the brand. There was, I don't know about you guys. SB3, while I'm talking, can you pull up who was released from NXT UK, please? I was very, very surprised to see Flash and Mandrews get released. Very surprised, especially on the cusp of Cardiff. I'd actually heard that there were massive plans with Mandrews, not on the show, but he had things. You know, he'd been doing the podcast with BBC and things like that. He had a lot factored in with WWE heading into that weekend. That just, I know Vince has left and a lot of things have changed, and you think that would change for the better for the NXT UK people, wouldn't you? But a lot of it got kind of pushed down, and then it just, before you know it, they're released. They could be a legitimate, great tag team on the main roster. In fact, I guarantee if they will go and kill if AEW give them the chance. They will kill. They are a great tag team by any stretch of the imagination. Anybody watching this with a NXT UK stigma or like glasses on, where you're like, just because they wrestled in front of like 50 people for more than a year, trust me, these guys can go. They are great, and there are some great talents in the NXT UK / NXT Europe locker room. Sid, walk us through who's left, brother.
Flash Morgan Webster, Mark Andrews, Wild Boar, Amel,
Amel, by the way, that's another one. That's a bad shout.
The only French superstar.
Exactly.
When they're starting at NXT Europe, you slash your only French superstar.
She's got a lot better too, by the way. Like, not only she's stunning, but I mean, in the ring with her like charisma, because you've got the language back. Like, she has come on a lot, I think, over the last sort of 6 months to a year, that she got more and more on the show. I was very surprised to see her go, knowing that they're going to NXT Europe. That doesn't make sense, but okay, whatever. Carry on. Sorry,
Jack Stars, Dave Matsiff, Ashton Smith, Millie McKenzie, which was the baffling.
That's another one.
They were grooming her to beat Mako. It felt like,
yes, they were
so young.
And by the way, they had to work so hard to. If you might remember, I actually broke the news that she signed with WWE, and I know they worked really, really hard to get her, because you've got to remember all of the speaking out stuff. There was a lot of kind of ill feeling, I think, or it was awkward, right? After it was New Zealand Travis Banks, right? After he went, so because she wouldn't have joined because of that. So it took a lot of time to get her, and then they just chuck her away. Like,
unsurprisingly, she hasn't let that phase her at all. She just today they announced that she's going to be wrestling for Game Changer Wrestling when they're
great.
So she's wrestling Allie Catch on their show. So congrats to her. I think that's an easy pickup. If you're going to pick up anybody from this list for AEW, go out of your way to get Millie McKenzie. We got Shaw Samuels
to a good match.
Shaw Samuels, Nina Samuels, Sam Gradwell, Danny Luna, Primate, Rohan Raja, Kenny Williams, Zaya Brookside, which isn't her father still working there?
Wait, Zaya's gone.
Yeah,
she's like a petulant heel on that show.
T.O. Man, Trent Seven. This was the name that shocked everybody on my show this weekend.
Wait,
Like
Trent's gone.
Right.
Trent's gone.
Trent's gone.
What happened to the blow feud? Did they have like a Ram production feud?
Well,
What?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
No.
Because if you watch NXT 2.0, you know now that Tyler Bate is the NXT UK champion, the person he beat in the finals.
Yeah. So Trent turns on Tyler, and then Tyler just takes the belt, and they fold the brand. That's basically what happened. Right? They just said, "There you go, story, one and done. Thank you very much."
What? No, this is like EastEnders. Who shot Phil?
Tyson T-Bone, Sid Scala, Saxon Huxley, Eddie Dennis, who was just on Revolution.
I liked Eddie, man.
Yeah,
I liked Eddie.
And Amir Jordan.
So, a couple of names I want to dig out there. Ashton Smith was another one who grew a lot on that brand. He had the tag team with Carter. What's his other name? Can't remember.
Oliver Carter, wasn't it?
Oliver Carter, yeah.
Oh,
So he's Swiss. See, again, going back to the ML point, they seem like they've kept Oliver Carter. Obviously, he's Swiss, so I don't know. But I thought he grew a lot in that tag team. They were tag team champions really not long ago, but I know that he hurt his knee when they won the belts, which was okay because NXT UK kind of like they have obviously the taping schedule that can help that. But I know that he'd suffered an injury, so I don't know. You know, Eddie Dennis, he had a lot of injuries in his time with WWE, but really good talker. And the biggest man they had, you know, he's not. I don't mean he's like a Satini Angi big man, but he's like 6'6". There's just a few names there. Amelie, of course. I don't see how you couldn't find room for them in America or whatever. There is just.
I feel like with Millie, because she had a name value before. I mean, she did stuff in Progress, and you know, she's Pete Dunne's, you know, homie. Amel, I'm worried because she's stuck in the basement of NXT UK. Unless Tony Khan's a huge NXT UK fan, I don't know if she'll probably go back to WXW. That's a safe bet. But besides that, I don't know. I don't want to say it too early because you never know who might blow up out of this. You know, I think
Amel could do well in America if that's what she wants to do. I don't know if it is, but I think if she wanted to, she could. Sam Gradwell was another one who had a lot of injuries during his time with the company. Never really had a breakout, but he did really well. Like transformed his body. He's always had great personality. There's a lot of people there that I feel kind of bad for, frankly.
T.O. Man. I wanted T.O. Man, Die Family. You know, he was doing good stuff there with what's his name? Dempsey, Regal's son.
Yeah. Charlie
Asian
Dempsey.
Bloke. I forgot the Asian bloke's name. But I was watching some stuff there.
The Asian bloke.
They immediately said, "Oh no, we're gonna send you to Florida because we know if we release you, you're gonna join your daddy in the Blackpool Combat Club."
Yeah. They said we'll keep you, mate. Don't worry about it.
We'll keep you.
You know, Jack Stars. Yeah, nice little stat for Jack Stars as well. That he was the first match for Volta on the brand. He was the first match for Ilya Dragunov. Basically, anyone who was going to come in and kick someone's ass, Jack Stars was your man. He was the guy,
and he saw stars.
There you go. Jack made stars. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's an acrimonious end because there's only now 3 NXT UK takeovers ever, and all 3 of them were absolute banger shows. The pandemic, of course, killed a lot of things, but the writing was on the wall, and this is what I wanted to bring it to. A lot of talents that I spoke to, they had a bad feeling. They were kept in the dark, but you know, things were getting closer to Cardiff. Nothing said. The schedule, of course, not being right. They felt it. They from what I've been told, they felt it anyway. Like they had a fee. I mean, I suppose they didn't know that NXT Europe was coming, but they felt that there was going to be a change. How drastic of a one, though. You would have thought if anyone was going to save him, it'd be Triple H, do you know? But I don't know.
Well, I think Nick Khan was like, "Hey, you're bringing some names back. I have to bleed your baby.
Some have got to go.
He's like, Hit Rose coming back. This it. NXT UK, I'm gonna rip it right open. You can bring in your Kyron Crosses, you can bring in your Tegan Knoxes, you can bring on whoever, and now I'm just gonna get rid of this. Budget's open, right? Right?
Well,
Budget cuts. Budget
what's
cuts.
interesting about Trent Seven is that WWE used him in like everything, right? Like when was he there when we were there, Sid? When I took you to the show? Oh,
I think so. He's always been like, he was kind of one of the faces of NXT UK with Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. So, and he trained both of those guys. It's like you couldn't find a place for him.
well,
Seriously?
unless he didn't want to go to America, but I can't see that being the case. Like literally, this is what I was trying to say. Like when I went with Sat to the Wembley show, so like you do bits beforehand, he's always there. Like Trent is the guy. When WWE are in town at the O2 or whatever, they wheel out Trent Seven, and he has a drink with you backstage, and you have a chat. He's always great. Like when I spoke to him, I can say this now, I guess. But at the last time there was at the O2, and he was like, I said, "What's going on with this Tyler Bate feud?" Like he turned on him, but we hadn't seen it on TV yet, but everyone knew. And he was like, I can't believe they didn't do it on a takeover or a pay-per-view. And he's right. That is criminal. That Mustache Mountain would just be a throwaway episode in front of like, a taped show in front of 20 people. Like, did WWE underestimate that greatly? How much people cared about Mustache Mountain? Because I feel like people really did.
They should still be together today, and the turn should happen at Worlds Collide.
The main roster. Oh yeah.
No, it should happen at Worlds Collide. It should be Trent has Tyler Bate in his corner, and Trent is in Tyler Bate's corner, and he's the reason why Tyler Bate doesn't beat Braun Breaker. That should have been the way to do it.
That should have been it. But Trent. It's funny though that like it just happened, and Trent himself was like, "That was not the way to go."
I was about to say, SP3, please get a writer's job in the WWE because Triple H is taking over. He'll treat you right. Better than Vince. Who is this guy? Why is he smarter? Why does he talk like that? Coach, who had Coach back? You'd be great on there.
Coach never had this much facial hair, to be fair.
He had a nice goatee at one point. If I didn't grow up,
I said not this much, not this much,
not that much. But I'm not lying. You should definitely come up with great alternative ideas. It used to annoy me because your ideas were better than what I was seeing on TV. But 2023, I have hope for WWE. This is the rebuilding phase. I feel like Paul Levesque has got a bone to pick with Tony Khan. So you have to get your chips in order. You have to get your army in order before he attacks and comes with him with them shoot promos and veiled threats. That's what I can't wait for. Slowly but surely. Because let's remember, Vince McMahon wasn't really trying because he beat Ted Turner. So he
was running a business. He was running a business. He wasn't doing the show. He was running a business.
He's like, I'm in my 70s. I don't care. He said that I'm not feuding with anyone. I'm stacking dollars. Take them. And I believe that. Yeah, Vince, you're not feuding anyone. Release this. Look at that. I destroy what I love. And then Triple H cares about this, right? Triple H cares about this. He's like, wait. I'm married into this family. I actually love wrestling. Please don't do this, Vince. I don't care. But now that Triple H is in charge, a real war will start either in 2023 or 2024. Triple H just gets ducks in a row. Then a real competition will start. Then we'll see who's truly the greatest company. Because before it was easy, I can beat Vince. I can start my own company and beat Vince when he was in charge. Because he wasn't even trying. It was abysmal. I hate wrestling. I hate WWE this year. It broke me. Anyway, that's another rant for therapy for another time. Enough here. But yeah, 2023, 2024, Triple H, Tony Khan. Let's see it. Let's do it.
I got to admit, after WrestleMania, I think maybe a month after, I was watching like the pay-per-views. I saw Cody go down at the Hell in a Cell. I fell really out of love with WWE big time. Like I was really finding it hard to get excited to watch it. I was just like, oh man, like nothing great was happening, and the formula that Vince was putting out there, it just wasn't for me. And I was really making sure every week I watched Dynamite though. Because I do think that's been the superior show pretty much for its run. And then as SP3 said, that went through a bit of a dip about 6 weeks, 2 months ago. And I was like, fuck's sake. But I do feel like we're in a good place with wrestling again right now, which is good. What did you make, Sat, of the reports that I don't know how to phrase this. SB3 might be able to correct me. But overtures were made from WWE for an AEW talent to return from whence it came.
Hey, so before I answer that question, without blinking too much, do you know who? Because you got sources. Do you know?
No, I
Hey,
don't
Mac,
know.
you
I
don't.
honestly don't know. No.
Isn't that like contract tampering, right? That's a thing that people get sued about, right? I really like WCW and WWE used to sue each other all the time. Hey, don't have drinks with them at the bar and ask them how to do it at the workplace. I'm gonna sue you.
How
like...
WWE is quoting it apparently is that they are just trying to find out how long people have on their deals, so they know if and when they want to make an offer to them. Which basically, yes, to put it in simple terms, contract tampering.
I don't mind that.
If it's Adam Cole, you're going to be waiting a while. Let's put it that
5 years. I got that. I got him for 5 years. All right, leave it alone. That's what Tony said. I got him for 5 years, and then they go, "You want Alistair Black back? Nah, Malachi's it for 5 years. I got him for 5 years. You can have Marco Stunt if you want. 5 years."
Triple H is going to sign. I told you, Triple H is going to sign him just to flex.
Nah, Gresham. Guys, that's Gresham. Do it on Gresham. Flex with Gresham.
Tom talks rubbish. Big love to the best trio in wrestling. Thank you, brother.
Get us in that tournament.
Get us in there.
Section. Daddy section. I'll close down Parker Bordeaux for you guys if you want. I like Parker. I'm just saying that I could potentially.
I think you could. CM says Trent was probably age, but Lord, could he go? Absolutely correct. I think the thing that surprised me about that, maybe the most, was that he, as I said, he was WWE's guy. They had him he hosted the run-in with Ginny. Was it Ginny? I think it's Ginny on BT Sport. So, like, they were using him in that capacity. He was doing a lot of media appearances for the company. He's always done that. I know he's been interested in producing, and he helped behind the scenes in NXT UK, as did Pete Dunne during his time there. There had to be a role for him. There had to be. Like, I very, very much struggled to see what's gone on there. I might just straight up ask him. But something's amiss, is it not?
Business is big. I feel Nick Khan grabbed Triple H by the jugular. He's like, mate, you got some choices now. You're on the main roster. What do you want? Main roster talent, or you want to play make-believe wish promotion? He got nothing to do with you anymore.
Which promotion?
Make-A-Wish promotion. That's what it is. Triple H Make-A-Wish is like, this is my little sandcastle because I can't have keys to the kingdom because Vince doesn't believe in me. But now he's got keys to the kingdom. He said, you're playing with the big leagues now. All right? You can't play Papa H all the time. You need to be a cerebral assassin. That's what it is. Nick Khan's got all him by the jugular. Everyone's like, I want to do this. Nick's like, the money. Money.
All right, got 4 things to talk about before we wrap up here. Number 1, SB3, Tenille Dashwood, as DJ Duke notes here. She's a free agent now. Could we see Emma back in WWE?
Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke. Please. That wasn't her theme. That wasn't her theme, guys.
Yes, it was.
The gimmick. No, it was.
Yes, it was.
No, it was.
No, the superior theme was.
That wasn't. It wasn't. It was the Hill remix. The Hill remix. Dana Brooke dealing with us.
I'm good. I'm good with anything involving Dana Brooke.
Dana Brooke and Emma, they were a great combo. No, you know what? She has me spoiled. But back in the days, I thought Dana Brooke had a huge upside as a heel. Yeah, her ring work was, whatever. But Dana Brooke, her best presentation was NXT with Emma.
Her ring work has gotten better. She doesn't have a personality.
Exactly, because she's miscast.
I'm sorry, flag, man. She can. I'm not saying she can't go. She looks great. It's just, I think there's something.
Hey, Mac, don't forget, guys. No. I think you guys are forgetting. It's been years. Go back if you want to. I know Amac's busy. He has to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning.
I remember all that.
You remember?
Stuff.
She was a good bully heel. I liked her. She was convincing as a bully heel.
Carbon copy. She was basically, especially when they put her with Charlotte Flair.
That was the worst point. That's when they gave up on her.
You're a dollar value, Charlotte Flair, when it comes to personality. Yes,
No,
it was.
she was
Ah,
good in
it's
names.
hard.
Her and Emma. I'll fight anyone.
Look, we're getting off topic here, talking about Dana Brooke's career. Let me bring up.
I
Go on.
do think that Emma may come back because it's similar to when Adam Cole was about to become a free agent, and we were like, one of the reasons why he would go to AEW is his significant other there. With Emma, it's kind of the same thing. Madcap Moss is her significant other, so it gives her an extra incentive to make that move back, and especially with Triple H in control, that might be the.
I'll tell you two things about that. One, I didn't even know they were together till she posted on Instagram about like a month ago. Am I the only one? Was everyone else
No,
at the same
No,
time?
same.
Right.
That was the boyfriend reveal, as they call it.
Yeah.
Now.
I was like, oh, I also didn't know. I don't want to get into. We don't have time to get into it too much. Jake Atlas. There's been more about him coming out today and what he was supposed to have said when he was arrested for domestic abuse against Duke Hudson. I didn't know that either.
We didn't know.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
That was kind of came out
by accident,
when everything
report,
everything happened because it said his real name in the report and people looked it
Brendan
up.
Vank. Brendan Vank. Wait, there is a Brendan Vank in NXT, and then they're like, oh no, and you're like, wait, and they're like, Dakota Kai was once dating Brendan Vank, and Dakota Kai lives with Shayna Baszler. Wait, Shayna Baszler and Dakota Kai dating? Everyone got confused and out of brains.
This is a rabbit hole. This is a rabbit hole I never intended. 6'5". God damn. I was surprised. I wouldn't have called it. He's a handsome man. I'm saying it. But either way, that report wasn't nice to read. We won't go into it, but yeah, not looking good for Jake Atlas on that one. Little bits to finish up on here. Dave Meltzer has said in the past 5 minutes that Road Dogg is back with WWE. The man who was begging for a job.
Yeah, like a sad little hole. He's like, anyone, everybody.
Did you just call him a hoe?
Yeah, he was. He was a hoe to be hired. When he did Conrad's thing, he's like, hey, are we back next week? Conrad said, no, this is a one-off show. It's his last match. No, I'll be here tomorrow.
He was stopping every car every time Triple H came by. He was like, hey, boo, how's everything?
Listen,
how's everything going?
Road Dogg is responsible for the crappiest period of SmackDown before Vince gave up. All right, Road Dogg stick to being an agent. He's trying to pretend like he's some sort of creative extraordinaire. Nah, that was Ryan Ward. That's not you, son. You came in and took over a great period of SmackDown and made it crap. You made James Ellsworth your main event. I'm kidding. I don't know about James Ellsworth stuff, but Road Dogg, stay away from the creative. Triple H, I know he has to back him because he knows Road Dogg will start bad mouthing him. It's like, hey, dude's got his own podcast. I better talk him off a ledge. You know, he's quoting Bibles. He's quoting right-wing stuff in the Bible. I have to talk him off a ledge. I'll give him some charity work backstage for a bit. Not give him creative. Paul Levesque, you're doing a great job. They knocked down NXT UK because you hired Road Dogg. He's like, Nick's like, careful who you're hiring.
Yeah. I mean, as long as Triple H is still ahead of it, it's fine.
Hey, Jeff Jarrett went out the door so the roadie could take over for him.
They strutted.
There you go.
It was like those revolving doors. They strutted in.
Jumped in his best friend's grave. Couldn't wait.
The real Double J.
Two things about Raw tonight in Canada. We're in Toronto, of course, the home of Trish Stratus. God, she looks good still. Don't know if anyone saw her. I don't know if anyone. I saw her at WrestleMania. So like full transparency, so I don't come off creepy or anything. Like obviously as a teenager, I was like, oh my God, Trish Stratus, amazing. I saw her at WrestleMania. I was like, Jesus Christ, she's in her 40s and she still is like the most phenomenal thing.
She's oat milk.
My missus got headphones in. It's fine. Now she can hear me. She said, God, it's just an admiring from afar.
She's good oat milk. She's nice oat milk.
She's no Mrs. McCarthy, but yeah, Trish Stratus, she's still got it. Anyway, the point I'm arriving at tonight, legit sellout in Toronto for Raw. First one in a long time. I'm led to believe, very rare TV occurrence. And Andrew Zarian says the last hour of Raw is have limited commercials. Is something happening? Is something afoot tonight on Raw? That could be when Edge is in action. I'm not sure. I haven't seen Sean Ross Sapp's rundown that he does every week. Subscribe to his Patreon if you do. But yeah, looks good for Toronto. What are we thinking?
I mean, last week's Raw was the best episode under Triple H with three really good matches. The great Drew McIntyre promo with him saying we're wrestlers in a wrestling ring. Let's freaking wrestle. And then SmackDown was really good with Sami Zayn as the biggest babyface in Montreal. That Montreal crowd was the best crowd they've had under Triple H. So I expect kind of the same type of energy for Toronto. They got the big match with Edge and Damian Priest. They also got Trish Stratus making her return, so there's some good stuff on tap for tonight's Raw. And then Asuka and Alexa Bliss versus Dakota Kai and Io Sky, who may or may not be known as Damage Control. That was what a name that WWE recently trademarked.
Because they recently said Control in a promo, right? And everyone was going, "Oh, they're going to be called Control," but presumably this trademark makes sense, I guess.
Nah, let's keep it real. That's like calling them the welcoming committee. Remember that group?
Ooh.
Natalia and Tamina and who's the third person? There's three of them. There's another one who wasn't really being used. I forgot who. Was Shayna Baszler? Was she part of it? I don't remember. But yeah, the welcoming committee.
I think it was Shayna.
The welcoming committee, the damage control, because we're here to fix the damage that the women's division had. We get it. It's kind of like the brawling brutes. Please come up with more controlling names. I mean, better names. Whoops.
Control is better than damage control, I think.
Yeah,
and it's still not a good.
Kendrick had a great verse on Control.
Very good way to end this show. Fellows, thank you very much for joining, for being by my side as usual on this fine Monday night. Thank you. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in to our TED Talk this week, all things wrestling, CM Punk, NXT UK, and all of the happenings in WWE right now. I'm not going to bother asking Sat because he always says nothing.
No, something.
Oh, you have something. Tell me what you're up to this week.
Expect the unexpected when it comes to Sat E. Always. Yes. This weekend, I am hosting SmackDown and Rampage reviews for Wrestle Talk.
Yeah.
And I might do some wrestling news. They haven't asked me about it. But yeah, I'm around on Saturday. You're going to see me live in living color. Holla.
Brother is getting his own gigs. That's what he's doing. Look, do you know what? He's got in there. He's got some numbers SB3, and they said we're going to have to bring this brother back.
Bless you for saying that. I could have been anyone. I could have been a suck puppet because it's the brand. The brand got the view. It's not me. It's just the brand.
Don't make me angry. SB3, what about you, brother?
Check out True Heel Heat YouTube channel. This past Saturday was our 5th year anniversary of the True Heel Heat flagship podcast, so go over and check that out. I also did want to mention on this show, shout out to Sat's boy Will Ospreay, who had a phenomenal week. Had the match of the year. Yes, I'm saying it, match of the year. Forget your Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes, forget your FTR versus Briscoes, Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay. Go out of your way to watch that. That is the match of the year. 34 minutes of excellence. He also had a great match with Tetsuya Naito. Just had 2 bangers for Revolution Pro with Speedball Mike Bailey, and then he lost the Rev Pro championship, a 2-year reign over against Ricky Knight Jr. So Will Ospreay definitely, yeah, he was the wrestler of the week.
Ricky Knight Jr. is going to be something special.
That was the plans. Yes. That's been in the plans, by the way, for a while. So it was just about when they're going to pull the trigger on it. They've been grooming this guy for a while, and I heard things even like back from last year. They were going to pull the trigger then, but they had to hold off for a bit.
Tell the people who's related to Sat.
Who's related to? Oh yeah, he's related to Paige here.
You do that better than her. Yeah,
it's Paige here.
Paige here.
But yes, it's Soraya.
True Heel SP3 is the handle. Check that out. I don't know if Alex is going to be on Pillar to Post, but that's the next time you'll see me over there.
Well, I've told you, I have I have very definite guidelines for joining Pillar to Post, that you have to be treated with respect, and if you don't win, I will sabotage the show. Yeah, I'm meant to be on there this week, so there you go. Get in touch with Jeremy on Friday. I'm also going to be joining Maggie and Rob on Coexist. I think that's what it's called. That's what I'm going to be on Friday night.
Coexisting with Robin.
There you
Mack.
go. There you go. Well, that's what I. There's my hype
A-Mac is
man.
such a big
That-
shot. I love this guy.
Really not. I'm tired.
He is
Uh,
a big shot.
And seriously, I'm going to bed after this. I'm dead. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. Remember, subscribe, share, spread the good word of Monday Night Live here on ITR Clips. We do appreciate it. Next week, it's the go home show before SB3 is out there covering All Out. I will be in Cardiff covering Clash of Champions, and Sa'i Nyangi will be holding Sa'i Nyangi's baby girl. Till next week, everybody. See you later. Bye bye.
Where's time? Go to bed.